Hi everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, and today we are talking about the full moon. It's on November 5th. It's at 13 degrees of Taurus, and this video is predictions for the sign of Cancer or Cancer rising. So what we would do is we would take the new moon chart, and because this is general predictions, then I'm going to shift this to a 0 Aries chart. And then I'm going to take the chart and I'm going to turn it so that Cancer is sitting on the ascendant. And that's the chart that we have here. And so, of course, this is about the full moon, and the moon is your planet ruler, and so very important. But this is what we were hoping was going to be this very quiet, peaceful Taurus full moon. But unfortunately, Mars is at 0 degrees of Sagittarius, and it is making an opposition to Uranus at 0 degrees of Gemini. And so this is like where you're sitting there having your cup of tea, looking at the flowers or the fall leaves, drop off the trees, and suddenly there's a ruckus and you need to go and deal with whatever that ruckus is. And then you sit again and you're about to take a sip of tea, and then something else, you hear a crash and you have to go deal with that. And so there is these constant disruptions in your daily routine over this 2-week period. Now, Mars in Sagittarius suggests that it's time to look at your routines and find a new way of doing things. And as you do, you're going to get very unexpected results. Sometimes they will be a win, sometimes not. And so this may be that you move your time of tea or your place of tea, or you stop having tea and you decide to have coffee because it has more caffeine, or you make some sort of change, and the results you get will be quite unexpected because that's the opposition to Uranus. Now, you are going to do that aspect in the other direction as well. Occasionally, you're going to have an inspiration, something that you want to change in your life, and then that's going to spur you forward to take action. Now, other people can also be involved in this as well, and that is as you have new ideas, you can suggest to them that they take a different action, and sometimes they will, or by their taking an action, then you react in surprising ways to them. Overall, this adds up to a very busy month for you, in a time where, with a full moon in Taurus, you are thinking, I just want to slow down, I just want some peace. And this moon up in your 11th house indicates that you want to go see friends or connect with the community, but you keep getting pulled back either into a work situation or into something with your daily routine that causes you to have to give your full attention to it. So the 6th house also rules health and wellness, and so that can be a factor here too, where there's something that deals with those topics that pulls your attention to the moment, away from this peaceful time that you were hoping for. And this is a challenge, of course, but it is something that when you're called to make adjustments, you do pretty well at, because being Cancer energy, which is cardinal, you do adjust pretty well. Now, this full moon is ruled by Venus, and Venus here is straddling your 4th house and 5th house, which means an awful lot of your attention is going to family as well as your kids. This is also connected to creative projects and things that you're doing to secure the foundation which you live by, which is everything from your savings account to the things in the pantry to having a skill set so that you can be more self-reliant and all of that. Venus is in Libra and wanting to make connections with others, and so a lot of the things that you're doing here related to this Venus is to help other people. Not surprising for you, Cancer. You tend to do that as a default anyway. We also see that Jupiter is still in the sign of Cancer, and it's going to be there for a while yet. And so this is giving you a little extra luck, a little extra guidance when you need it. And so if you go and ask people for help, oftentimes you will get help from someone, maybe not the first person you ask or even the second person, but you will get some help. This Jupiter, though, can mean that you are you have more energy right now, and so you're going and going, but you can overextend yourself. And so that's, I think, why you wanted this quiet 2-week period. But again, Mars at 0 degrees of Sagittarius says there's going to be some sort of disruption. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, we're really looking at the relationship that the moon has with Pluto. So we can also look at its relationship with Mars, but the moon's not talking to either of them. And so the energy here is that you're more interested in friendships, acquaintances, than actually getting together for a little romance. Now, that said, this is, the full moon, which is, of course, the combination of the sun and moon, is lighting up those houses. So the moon is reflecting the light of the sun, which is in the 5th house of romance. So there is some energy here, but you're more waiting for the other person to make the first move. And in this case, I think they're trying to, but it's like there's a mist, like 2 ships passing in the night. So you can make yourself more available. You can make yourself more seen. So, and that would help. But this is just a 2-week period. So if you find that, that you feel like the phone's not ringing, you're not getting the invitations, either you go out and say, I would like to do this, or just wait till outside this 2-week period when this energy will line up better. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, we're looking at the relationship that the moon has with Saturn. And that is a semi-square. And actually, it's not even a semi-square, it's way too wide. So there is some harmonious energy because of the signs, but it's a little too wide to have these two talking. It's kind of like if you were at a party and someone is they're a little bit of a distance, and you could shout and get their attention, but that would really cause the whole crowd to stop and stare. And so you try to do little hand signals, but your partner doesn't really understand. And that's kind of what's going on in your relationship. You might be signaling something to your partner, or they're signaling something to you, and the signals are not really understood. So now this is not some really difficult energy. This is more that, you say you're going to be at a place and meet them at 5 p.m. They show up at 5:30. They thought you said 5:30. No big deal. You got to, scroll a little bit or read your book. So this is a little bit of maybe inconvenience, but nothing major. This is not necessarily a time to try to pull together to do something major. If you can put that off, if you're trying to, sign some important papers or, get a business thing going together, you may want to hold back until we get to the new moon energy in a couple of weeks. Now, when it comes to your money, you pull money energy from the sun, and the sun is in your area of creativity and inspiration and risk-taking, and it's really making a very nice trine to the North Node in your area of information and new ideas and adventure and exploring. So we have some really good energy for coming up with new concepts and new ideas. These are not to be implemented yet. You want to wait until the new moon. But this is when you are looking around, and at a full moon time you say, oh, look, this is how the trees grew, and this is how the crops grew, and next time this is what I'm going to do to make it even better. That's the type of energy that you've got right now for your money. And so at the most, like you might want to do a little tiny seed test, in the kitchen window, but this is not the time to do some all in, really trying to do something brand new. This is more a time to say, oh, I see, universe, you're trying to guide me in a new direction. Let me start to explore that path. With an astrology reading, you get more information about who you are, your talents and abilities. You get to see what obstacles are ahead, and you can get a game plan for how to get past those obstacles and find success. So if you're interested in having a reading, there's a link in the description. When it comes to money derived from business or investments, we want to see the sun's relationship with either Uranus, which there's not a relationship going on right now, or Saturn, which you're doing a sesquiquadrate. So a sesquiquadrate energy means continual adjustment. That means that there is always something where it's a little bit unexpected. You don't really know how to do this, but you'll find out. They need to get funds together, but they will get back to you. There's always some sort of little delay, adjustment, shift, pivot happening. And if you embrace that as some sort of dance, you could do really well. But if you say, I don't want to adjust, I don't want to, accommodate this person, then that can slow down the whole process. So just expect over this next 2 weeks, you can make more money than usual, but it will require you to make some adjustments. And then when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be a paycheck, we're looking for the relationship of the sun with Venus, and they're not talking to each other right now. However, you do have the wonderful full moon lighting up this area. So this means that you're going to get some information about future raises and your future with this company through other people. And that is that the moon reflects the light of the sun. So you're going to hear people say things. You could talk to your supervisor. You're going to get some real truth about whether this is the company to stay at or whether you should be starting to think about looking around for something else so that you can make more money. So this is an opportunity to collect information. It is not so much a time to be asking for a raise. I just wanted to jump in really quick to say that my big class on predictions is coming up soon. It's on November 9th. We're going to be talking about the year of the fire horse as well as Western astrology predictions. And so if you are interested in what's ahead for 2026, then there is a link in the description with more information and to register.